Coming up on the Making Waves VO podcast.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. What do you remember of your 24 goals?
Well, to drink more bourbon, and that has been successful thus far.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves. Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
Making waves.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell.
Yeah, let's just see where this meandering path goes, Bobbi. It's the Making Waves VO podcast. It's Kevin Kilpatrick here in Nashville.
And Bobbi Maxwell, also in Nashville.
Hey, Bobbi, I missed you on the last podcast. What happened?
Yeah, we thought about replacing you.
Wow. I didn't get the memo. Man.
Obviously, you didn't listen to it either.
All this hard work. No, I did kind of catch it, and I'm a little bit nervous about Rob Reed taking my job.
It was funny because Hugh was our guest, Hugh Klitsky, and he actually called it Rob and Bob was the name of the show. And I went, Kevin's not going to like that.
Oh, that is such a radio show sounding name.
It is, isn't it?
Rob and Bob in the morning. They're wacky. They're zany.
No, we missed you.
Oh, like a bad rash, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The Making Waves VO podcast is presented by Full Compass at fullcompass.com.
We know VO.
So, Bobbi, we do not have a guest this go-round. Much thanks to Hugh P. Klitsky for joining us on the last Making Waves VO podcast. And it was a great episode. And it is one of the things that, has been prevalent in the voiceover world probably the last couple of decades now. And that's the conversational read. It's just part of our fabric now. But we're seeing different trends come up here and there. And we're going to kind of talk about some trends. We're going to talk about accents today. But first, Bobbi, what do you say we talk about our goals for 2024?
Yikes.
Yeah, because you are the homework queen, and we've talked about this in the past, that you were probably a little bit of a teacher's pet, and you claim that were you valedictorian? Or you were
No.
But
No,
weren't you among the highest?
I was National Honor Society.
Honor Society, all right.
National Honor Society, yeah.
Close
But
enough. Close enough.
No, we're
So
close
you
to
did your
valedictorian.
homework. You
Yes.
posted your goals. You've got do you have like a memory board going? Do you have, all these things happening?
Maybe.
It's my dream board. It's my vision board.
Yes, of course.
Oh, my gosh.
And I put everything in a little notebook. I write down
that's
everything.
great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So are you saying that you don't have your goals
Bobbi,
listed anywhere?
If you don't know me by now, I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of a guy, and I work best under pressure, and I don't, I have the goals, and I kind of have them in my mind, but I didn't go through all the effort you did.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. What do you remember of your 24 goals?
Well, to drink more bourbon, and that has been successful thus far. No, to drink less bourbon while working, that was a goal. No, I'm just serious. But seriously, folks.
Oh my gosh.
No, I had to get some political footing, and that is in process right now. Big marketing is underway, and I will wait for the fruits of that labor to come to fruition, if you will. But I also, I've got, most of my plans were leaning towards the second half of the year, though. And one of that is landing a specific agent, and I'm still making that plan, or working on that plan and doing all the prep work. Another was to, I think I said get another radio station. I haven't gotten another radio station, but I haven't tried.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was like one or two other things, because I think we did like top 6 list or something like that.
Yeah, I have 5 down, so it was something like that. Well, that's good. I mean, I know that getting a new agent is big for you, and I know you do have a plan for that. See, you do plan things.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Some things. Like, that's my big plan for the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had get an LA or New York agent, and I had been hip pocketed for a couple of things. Yeah, so I'm making progress. I'm giving
Hey,
myself
Bobbi,
a
really
half.
quick, just so we can elaborate on that. What does it mean to be hip pocketed?
When you're hip pocketed, you may be sent auditions, but you're not officially on the roster. They're kind of like testing the waters, if you will. So if you book with them, in 6 months, a year, however long the hip pocket is going to be, you could eventually be on their roster. So like I said, they're testing you, and they're seeing potential, and they're hoping that it gets into something bigger.
Okay.
That makes
Very
sense?
nice, and congrats on that. Yeah, 100%. Congratulations
thanks.
on the hip pocket designation.
Yeah. One of my goals was to get a blog on my website. Not even close. I haven't even put time into it. And sadly, one of them was to pursue e-learning more, because you produce a really good e-learning demo for me. And I just, most of the auditions I'm seeing are really lengthy e-learning jobs, and I'm just not into long form. So I've not been tackling that one, sad to say. But moving on. New commercial demo with coaching. Yes and yes. So I'm going to be recording a new commercial demo very, very soon.
Good.
And I'm currently coaching with Hugh, who we just talked about. And then, of course, number one was just like you, putting a lot of effort into political. And I wrote down that I was going to present at VOA, which went really well with Christy Bowen, the political genre. We got our own website up, Left Right Political, and pursue consultants and agencies more that deal with political, and definitely, like you, marketing on that.
Yeah, so you have, you're tackling goals. I love that.
Yeah.
Hang around. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell. I, on the other hand, am Eric Romanowski of Ear Blowing Audio, and I don't know the first thing about podcasts other than that you should keep listening to this one.
Full Compass is your one-stop destination for cutting-edge audio, video, and lighting solutions. With nearly 50 years of industry expertise, we offer a vast selection of high-quality equipment, from microphones, recording interfaces, and software, to audio accessories, monitors, headphones, and other pieces to help you find your ideal sound. Our trained product experts are here to help every step of the way with unmatched customer service. You'll also get free same-day shipping, flexible financing options, and a low price guarantee. Visit us online at fullcompass.com or call 800-356-5844 today.
And now back to making waves.
Let's
Yeah.
get back to the e-learning really quick.
Okay.
What do you think it is? Because I love e-learning. Now, I could, and I would take on and I have actually hours long. I've done OSHA training that has been hours long, but you break it up. You do it, and break it into several sessions. What do you think it is with you in long form narration?
I think it's an attention span thing. It's kind of like why I don't really read novels or books very often. I just don't have that attention. I get bored, or I'm sidetracked, or what. And it's the same with e-learning or audiobooks or anything like that. Even explainers. I rarely will take one on over, say, 3-5 minutes.
Wow.
I like the short one. I like commercial. I like political. I like anything
Promo.
that's promo. 30 seconds. Yeah, is my game.
Okay. Well, to each their own, I guess. And that's great, though. That's great that you know that about yourself. But you should get, some opportunities for e-learning because, you're good at it. And if you could find the right ones, you'd be so good doing them.
Oh yeah, I'm not. It's not a no for sure. I'm just, like I said, it's just the longer ones. So if those shorter opportunities come up, absolutely.
Okay. So what did you do in terms of, when we set out to make these goals at the beginning of the year, what was your strategy in implementing them? Like, what were the steps you take when you make goals and then seeing them come to life?
Well, I think that's why I put them up on the wall, because I want to see them there every single day, but I don't work on them every single day. As you and I both know, we get pretty busy with automotive certain times of the month, and those other weeks or days, that's your opportunity to get caught up on everything else. So I'll throw in a day to work on reaching out to some consultants in political or whatever the other goals are. So it's just this, when I have the time, and probably more when I have the energy to do it or the enthusiasm to do it.
Okay.
How about you?
I make it all up as I go, Bobbi. I just throw stuff at a wall and say, hey, Kev, why don't you apply to be a plastic surgeon this quarter? And then, with a few weeks training, I could be operating on your nose next week, Bobbi.
Oh, my God. Well, we know how busy you get with just your automotive work. That's why you weren't here last podcast, because out of the blue, you were just like, right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, you've got to take care of your clients. You got to be mindful of, who brought you to the dance and take care of them. And just some things came up where there were just, kind of emergency sessions that had to be taken care of. And I ended up having to do it like right at the time we were supposed to record the podcast. And I just couldn't let them down. And much gratitude to Rob Reed for, stepping in, and for you for taking the reins and all that. But that keeps me really busy. And then the e-learning stuff that I manage keeps me busy as well. And but I'm glad for that stuff. That's always been my philosophy, to get that foundation income, set and kind of on autopilot, and then just reach and strive for the other stuff, which is what I'm doing too. And that is something that I am proud of myself this year for doing, is I've been training a fair amount in a couple of specific genres that I am pursuing. And just got to keep grinding at it, working at it. It's this. I want to be in VoiceOver because people say I got a good voice. It's so much harder. It is so much harder than just that. I mean, my gosh. And that's not to discourage anybody from, getting into the VO business, because we have a lot of fun and we enjoy our jobs, and the rewards can be there, but it's tough.
It's a business. It's not a hobby. And you're responsible for this, and this, not just recording your beautiful voice that someone has told you have,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So speaking of beautiful voices and, what we do with our voices and accents and different things like that, Bobbi, have you turned into a Southern belle since you landed in Nashville?
You don't even know. So fast. Tell
us about that. Your undiscovered talent of the Southern voice that you didn't know you had.
Well, there's been three major things so far. The first one was basically with you, with some automotive clients that I have. They're Southern dealerships, and our person who sends those jobs to us commented, thanks, tell Bobbi, what was it? Tell Bobbi, thanks.
Yeah, tell Bobbi that we really appreciate her injecting just a subtle Southern accent in the spot. It was perfect. And I'm like,
but I didn't.
Okay, I'm pretty sure she didn't mean to, but I'm going to pass that along.
Oh, and then the second one was a couple of weeks ago when I was in a workshop with an agent, and I read for her, and one of the first things she said was, I'm detecting a little bit of a Southern accent there. And I was like, no. She goes, but keep it. She goes, I told her, I've only lived in Nashville for 6 months. She goes, but keep it, because there are so many auditions now asking for a Southern accent. So, yeah.
And where you were from in Ohio, Cincinnati, right there on the Kentucky border. And there's a lot of Southern influence right there, too.
Well, when I moved to Vegas when I was 18 years old, a lot of people out there said, where are you from? I hear a little bit of a Southern accent because Kentucky was right over the river. And so, yeah, it's always been a thing, but now I think it's just coming out even more. But the worst one, Kevin, and I think I
I'm ready.
texted you on this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I had a big job. It's going to be some national spots, and she gave me this script, and it's kind of a serious topic, and I sent it back to her, and one of the first things she said, we love the tone, but we're hearing a Southern accent, especially in the word like. You notice I didn't say like.
Lock.
So I was like, oh, you're kidding me. Again? So I went back and recorded it another time, and she says, I'm still hearing that like. And I didn't hear it. I played it for some other people, but it's different ears, and they knew what they wanted. But the thing that got me was she sent me a link on YouTube how to pronounce the word like in the American language.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess those are the words I have to be careful. Those I's and A's.
Oh my goodness.
Don't say y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. And how did that resolve itself?
Actually, after the third time, I was very aware of it, and she said, "Great work, invoice us." So,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It all worked out. I just got to stay away from the local, grocery store here in my little town because that's what brings it out.
Yeah, it's
when you talk
everywhere.
to the locals. Yeah.
When you talk to the locals, you sound so elitist, Bobbi. When you talk to the common locals here in Middle Tennessee.
Because Nashville has become so, what is the word, transient? Is that the word?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are people
moving in and out.
Moving in hordes, yeah. So, yeah, there are the local dialect. Which you do not have, and I'm surprised.
Oh, I kind of do, though. Pardon me for clearing my throat. But yeah, I do sometimes, and it will sneak out sometimes. I don't focus on it so much when I'm doing VO because I think but I've lived all over, Bobbi. My first 12 years of my life were in Illinois, right across the Mississippi River from St. Louis. And so I got a true Midwest vibe going there. Then I moved to Florida. To Arkansas, then Florida, and now back here in Tennessee. So I've had my experience with the South, but I've also had a good blend of just non-regional stuff.
Well, I'm surprised because your wife, Deborah, has a really thick accent, and that just being around her all the time, that you don't pick it up.
Yeah, I've heard worse accents, and there are a lot of those around here, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is like when I put on my professional voice, because when I'm out and just hanging with folks, I'll ease into this just a little bit, and just we'll talk like this, and it's easier, But when you get on mic, you kind of straighten that up and sharpen up the. I don't know.
I'm sure radio has a lot to do with it.
It could, very well could. I listened to an old air check of mine one time, and it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Whenever I listened to it, but it was one of my early on air checks from like '89, and I was in Hot Springs, Arkansas at the time, and I had a huge Southern accent going. I'm like,
did
wow.
you?
Yeah. It was.
Can you say
Kev
that to
Man
me?
in the morning. I know.
Kev
Man in the morning. I had T-shirts, Bobbi. I had T-shirts.
That said Kev Man in the morning?
Kev Man had a big goofy caricature of me on the front and with the US 97 calls and
oh,
all
how
that stuff.
funny.
Yeah. Oh, the good old days back when I was a star.
And then he went down to Florida to become Gator.
Yeah, that's kind of how it all went down.
Hey, it's Amanda from Amanda Utter VO, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with my friends, Kevin and Bobbi. Thanks for listening.
So we've talked about goals and, what do you need to tighten up? as far as the goals go? Like, what do you need to like refocus on before the end of the year, Bobbi?
I think I'm on track. I think, the website thing was just a maybe thing. Maybe the e-learning, like you said. I mean, if I have the ability to do it, I should.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I think everything else is I'm on the right track 6 months in. I feel good about it.
Very cool.
But let's talk about what is going to be hot for the rest of the year.
Okay.
As far as, what kind of jobs are going to be out there, what you kind of need to tidy up before December. For instance, we just talked about political. There's never been a hotter time than this election year and all the mudslinging that's going to happen to get some good, not only good work, but good paying work with political. So, to have your demo ready or to make your connections, now is the time.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Another genre that I know is picking up, and it seems to do it about this time every year, and that is documentary and in-show narration, because all these producers are getting out their auditions because they have shows they're trying to get put together for the fall schedule. So this is over the summer is the time they're starting to wrap up and choose voices and these different kinds of things. I would have to market to some individual producers right now. But yeah, I'm seeing some of those opportunities, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that has picked up some. So that's kind of cool too. And it's also cool just to see that overall, because a lot of the in-show stuff that is happening now, they're getting the subjects to tell the stories. And they're just cutting together these interviews. And it's effective and it's compelling. But please hire we voice actors to tell the story that needs, the glue in between. We can do it, and we can sound great and not mess your show up.
I just read on one of the VoiceOver Facebook groups that someone had auditioned for a job, but they ended up giving it to the celebrity, but the producers came back to this person because the celebrity didn't reply to them in a timely manner.
Ooh.
And so they said, "Hey, we need this yesterday. Just give us a piece of this and we'll resubmit it." And they did, but the celebrity came back and reached back out to them, and they ended up getting the job in the long run. But so
that's frustrating.
And their schedules are really busy, and that's something they've got to keep in mind. I mean, they've got this whole on-camera world to deal with, so stay in your lane.
Exactly.
So is that true also for TV promo then, don't you think? That
I would
now
imagine
would be the time
so, yeah.
with the new shows? Yeah.
And that's, that's kind of the stuff, I didn't really establish that or maybe I did kind of establish that as a goal, but that is one of the goals of mine, is to get into that promo world, more of the documentary and show world and trailer world. I'm trying, Bobbi. They say, they being the experts in the industry, they say that is about the toughest nut to crack in this whole kit and caboodle is the trailer world.
And why is that?
Because it's such an elite thing, and because only about a dozen guys and 1 or 2 ladies do it. Because they go back to them time and time again. Why do they go back to them? Because millions of dollars are on the line. And if millions of dollars are on the line, you're going to stay consistent with what has worked in the past. So it's hard to break in. Why would they trust Kev to push their movie when Gabe Kunda has done amazing over the last 4 or 5 trailer releases? So it's just so hard, and it's such an elite club to get into, not only for me, especially for the ladies, but we're seeing ladies like Debbie Harada, making inroads. And we, of course, know Melissa Disney has done it in the past, and there have been other ladies that have done trailers in the past.
Rebecca Davis.
But that world is starting to open up, and I did a workshop not long ago, a trailer promo workshop. And there was a gal there. There were several gals there who could do amazing things. I heard some amazing promo reads during that, but I heard some great trailer reads from ladies too. So and I think, talking to some trailer producers that I kind of know, and that's not a humble brag. I just have, you have connections in this business. But talking, it's still very much a boys' club, but they are starting to see and open their eyes and ears to the possibility of women being effective, and they very much can and will be. They just need those opportunities. So it's hard all around.
And also, you would think 5 years ago, a couple years ago, you would have to have a prominent LA agent to get those jobs, but that's not necessarily true anymore, is it?
No, it's not. You can market your tail off and become a pain in the butt, kind of, to folks where they can't say no anymore. They just want to send you some work but you can't do it like that. You can't be so much of a pain, but you do have to market, and you have to make relationships. It's so much about relationships.
And you're talking about the trailer producers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't just, you can't send them just a cold email and call it done and expect the phone to ring off the hook on your end for them to give you work. You've got to cultivate those things and figure out ways to make yourself valuable. It's not I. It's you, client. What can I do for you? Here's how I can do something for you that will help you. And it's understanding their world, too, understanding their pressures and their time crunches, and being an efficient resource that's reliable and good. It's those things. It's just that easy. Yeah, and available. Yeah,
on a moment's notice, right? Yeah.
A lot of times, I've heard from some trailer friends that do it that, if you get a campaign, prepare to be ready at all times of the day or night to, complete the campaign as they need it, when they need it. Because it's very, very fast, and the VO is typically the very last thing that comes in. And it's like, okay, it's done. Oh, we got to get a voice.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Hurry. That's just that
Absolutely.
world. That's that world.
There's a couple of areas that are going to be booking talent big time in the next couple of months, and one of them it's already started. Actually, already started a month ago before school was even out. But all the back-to-school ads, they're making them now. Because kids go back in August now, and that's right around the corner. And I've also been seeing auditions for holiday ads, which just blows me away that this far out they would be doing an ad, because things change.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, they do it in the stores. I mean, look at Hobby Lobby. They have this stuff in there, and who knows what months. But yeah, so they're certainly going to do it when they're getting their ads together.
It's a Christmas in July sale. It's not those, right? It's the real deal, right? The real holidays?
Yeah.
Wow.
The real holidays.
The real holidays, like Arbor Day. Come get 20% off trees on Arbor Day.
Hey, watch it. I just re-upped for Arbor Day yesterday.
What does that mean, you re-upped for Arbor Day?
I joined it. You give them whatever. It's like, I think $20 is what I wrote the check for.
Oh, yeah,
and
you're so sweet.
But I got 5 free crepe myrtle trees out of it.
Oh, and that's right up your alley, because you love tending garden and working in the yard, and you and Steven have a nice piece of land now, and you've got the big garden going in the back. And now your husband did tell me that he's doing all the work, and you have to do all the picking. Is that right?
Yeah. What is it? The reaper and the sower, or whatever. Okay. back in the day, I am definitely the reaper. But yeah,
you're not grim though, are you?
Some days.
Don't go anywhere. The Making Waves VO podcast returns in a moment.
Hey, this is international award-winning voice actor Krista Walrock, and you're listening to the Making Waves VO podcast with Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell.
Bobbi, this is a great time of the year to save money on gear, is it not?
Well, we were talking about a 4th of July, or it was a Christmas in July sale. Of course.
Yes.
Sales are happening everywhere.
Absolutely. And what better way to save money than on gear at Full Compass, fullcompass.com. You go there, you do your shopping, you do your browsing, and then guess what? You enter a special code. If you call them on the phone, you tell them the code. But the code is
We know VO.
Exactly. You're going to get 10% off almost anything. There's a few exceptions, but almost anything that you buy right now through Full Compass, you're going to get 10% off when you present that code. Enter it at checkout or tell them on the phone. The offer is only good through July 31st, though.
And you get 10% off.
You get an extra 10% off when you put in the code We Know VO, all as one word. Now, it's on purchases, qualifying purchases. It's not valid on parts, cannot be combined with any other offer. Additional exclusions apply. There's a $1,000 maximum discount limit, 1 redemption per customer. Offer not valid on previous purchases. This is non-transferable. Single-use promo code. Call 800-356-5844 for details. Void where prohibited. That's the legal speak.
And remember, it's We Know VO for 10% off almost everything that Full Compass and fullcompass.com have.
All one word. Go to fullcompass.com and shop to your heart's content and enter that code, and you should be good to go. Full Compass, fullcompass.com.
We Know VO.
Now, back to the podcast.
Let's talk about something in your, what's the word I'm looking for? Automotive.
Realm of expertise?
Thank you. Automotive. I know that the new cars come out, in September? Is it still September?
Yeah, usually, mid-late, early fall is when they start, giving hints about that stuff, yeah.
So how does that affect ads? Does it increase after that?
There will be, so Memorial Weekend is the biggest car advertising weekend, basically, of the year. Second to that is Black Friday in November, because this segues into what you're talking about, because all these new models are coming out, all the old models they want to get rid of. We have no more room. We have to make room for our inventory. The trucks are coming in daily. And so towards the fall of this year, and then especially November, they start clearing out, inventory sales and those kinds of deals. And the manufacturers typically provide some really good incentives. So it doesn't really, the desperation for dealers to get rid of the previous year's inventory doesn't really happen until, late fall. But coming up, Labor Day, there are typically some pretty big Labor Day incentives coming up. So that will increase some. There will be a handful of car dealers that advertise during that time of year that don't advertise year-round. So, these car dealers, sometimes they pick their battles. They'll advertise for 4th of July. They'll advertise for Memorial. They'll advertise for Labor Day. And then they kind of, micromanage their budget beyond that. But then there's those that do it every single month, and then they add on top of that for the big sale times. So it should get pretty busy again coming up. Yeah, once Memorial Weekend hits, it's pretty busy for automotive throughout the summer and into the fall. The slow months for automotive, I have found over these last 20 years, are right at the end of December after Christmas into January and February. That 2.5 month period, 2 months and change, that's when it's a little bit slow for automotive. But beyond that, March kicks in, man, when you start advertising, your IRS refunds coming in, or the St. Patrick's sales and tax refunds and, those kinds of things.
That's good to know for anybody who's looking to get into automotive. Well, so what about e-learning? That's also an area that you do a lot too, with the renewal of your insurance and the what do they call it? The end of the year, we sign up for insurance, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of corporate narration for that, or when people are getting to Medicare, there's so much. Doesn't that affect e-learning and corporate narration a lot?
I'm sure it does in most of that space. A lot of the e-learning stuff I work on, Bobbi, is safety related. A lot of it. Now, there are a lot of custom courses that I do that are preventing robbery at your store, or they deal with Lean Six Sigma stuff, or different things like that.
Excuse
but
me?
a lot of what I do is training related.
What did
And
you
they-
just say? Lean Six. What did you say?
Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma is like a oh man, how to explain that? It's a training that you go through to learn how to be a better manager and a better employee and different things like that. And you get it's different degrees within that. And you might earn a black belt in that. And like, oh, this is how great of a supervisor I am because I've gone through all this training with Lean Six Sigma. Yeah, and it's just it's hard to explain, but I've done custom courses, and Lean Six Sigma is one of those deals where, yeah, if you take it, you can earn more money because it's a thorough process on how to be a better manager, managing inventory better, managing employees better, and all these different things. Some really smart guy came up with this as a business practice model, and a lot of, companies and brands have adopted it and make their people take that training. So, yeah, Lean Six Sigma. But a lot of the training stuff, there's a lot of legal speak in the training stuff, which is amazing because laws change and they change the language often. So there's often revisions on this kind of stuff. And a lot of times they want to revise stuff before the year ends. So I typically see an uptick in e-learning stuff towards the end of the year, October, November, December, because they're trying to get the changes completed by the end of the year for whatever reason. So, yeah, I'll see a little uptick towards the end of the year on e-learning stuff. It's been a little bit slow. I had a crazy busy May with e-learning, but June has been a little bit slow. And I think June and July are going to be a little bit slower altogether for e-learning, but other stuff is still steady.
I wonder if the agents, as far as getting new people on their roster, if that slows down in the summer as well because of vacations and just the whole industry kind of slows down a little bit. Because I know I remember when I first got interested in trying to find an agent, someone said don't even try after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that was true but it would make sense because yes, you're starting vacations and their heads are elsewhere. So I wonder if summertime is the same way, if there's like that area like spring and fall when agents most look to add people.
Yeah, that's the thing is, the follow-up question would be is if we could ask an agent, what is the ideal time for a voice actor to submit for representation? I know they... I've heard some where they get, 6 new emails a day just from people wanting representation.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine, 30 a week? Just like,
Or
okay.
more.
Yeah, or more. So, what is the ideal time? And maybe it is in the summer where people expect it to be slower. I don't know. That's a good question. I wish we had an agent friend that we could just call right now. And we've got agents, but I don't want to bug them with that kind of dumb question that we should probably know anyway.
I need to get an agent on sometime real soon.
Yeah. Eric Shepard was our last agent guest, wasn't he? Secret agent man Eric Shepard was.
Secret agent man. Sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Bobbi, have we covered enough topics for today?
We've covered a lot. What's your next step in getting those goals on your list in the next 6 months?
Following up with political contacts that have been reached out to. I'm going to, give them a nudge. I'm going to let it set for a couple weeks or so and then give them a little nudge. Hey, happy to do an audition for you. And maybe just, tickle them just a little bit and just see what happens.
I can totally see seeing you do political. Definitely.
I hope so. But I'll let you know at the end of the year about my big goals for the year, how those come about.
Yeah.
But we do need to get an agent on. I think that's a really good idea.
I have some ideas. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk. And what about you? What are you going to do to button up some of your goals by the end of the year?
Definitely political. Yeah, I still have more people to reach out. I went to a conference and made a lot of contacts, and sadly, I've not reached out to most of them just because I knew that the work wasn't really ramping up quite yet. So I've got to do that. While it slows down in the summer for a lot of other things, that's when I should be starting to reach out, because September is going to be here before you know it. Late August, heck, that's when they're going to start. Yeah.
Very good, Bobbi. Well, great episode. This was fun. And we've got a fun, talented guest coming up on the next Making Waves VO podcast. Her name is Katie Lee. Katie Lee is a legend in the animation industry. And she's probably going to be mad. Kevin, if you say I'm a legend, they're going to think I'm old. And that's how Katie is. We go way back. She's such a sweetheart and just a kind person and super talented.
What do you know what some of her characters have been?
Oh man. So Katie, if you pull up her IMDb, Katie's known for Muppet Babies, The Adventures of the Gummy Bears, Darkwing Duck. Let's see, Tom and Jerry in New York.
Wow.
Babe, and maybe I'll get her to tell this story of how close she was to being Babe, but she got another role in Babe. Doc McStuffins.
Oh, wow.
Just on and on. Puss in Boots, Despicable Me, just on and on and on. Just so talented. And she is the voice of several toothbrushes, Bobbi. We'll have to get her to tell the story of her toothbrush fame and fortune. And that's actually how I met her. So, she and I go way back. And
from the toothbrush. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We'll tell you the origin story of Katie and I's friendship. So, and Katie's an author. She recently wrote a really neat self-help book that deals with anxiety and pressure, but she did it in a fun, cute way, and we can talk about that too. But yeah, Katie Lee's going to be on our next episode of the Making Waves VO podcast.
Very fun. Can't wait.
Presented by Full Compass and FullCompass.com.
We know VO.
The Making Waves VO podcast is produced by K2 Media Productions with hosts Kevin Kilpatrick and Bobbi Maxwell. Sound design and editing by Jason Traver. Production assistance by Lacey Deline. Publicity and social media by Shannon Scott and Silas Phillips. Be sure to subscribe to the Making Waves VO podcast on your favorite platform. For all episodes, merchandise, gear, and more, visit makingwavesvo.com. Until next time, I'm AJ McKay. Keep making waves.